Melissa Wick here. Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back. I am coming to you from South Beach, Miami, and this practice is a restorative practice where we'll focus on healthy breathing, come into some simple but yet potent postures. There won't be too many postures. There are no standing postures, and the intention of this practice is to leave feeling deeply nourished, calm, centered, and grounded. So props aren't needed. However, if you do have a block, that will be helpful. If you don't have a block, you can use a bolster, or you could use a thicker pillow or a couch cushion just for some support, or maybe even a folded blanket. So we'll finish this practice in a nice Shavasana. Afterwards, we'll sit for about a minute in silence just to receive the effects and the nourishment from our practice. So get into something comfortable and let's get this practice started. Let's go ahead and get started on our backs. So just have your props aside for now. Laying down on your back, you can either have your legs straight out long, or you can have your knees bent if that feels better for your lower back. So you can have the feet as wide as the mat and knees fall in to touch. Now bring your hands onto the lower belly, the lower abdomen. Close your eyes if that feels all right for you, or just soften your gaze down. And we'll begin by taking 2 deep cleansing breaths. So exhale your breath here. Take a big breath in through your nose, let your belly and chest completely fill up. And then release with a big exhale out through the mouth. Let it go. All the air goes out. We'll just do that one more time to clear the space. Inhale through the nose, let your belly fill up. And then a big exhale out through the mouth. Release, even let out a sigh if you'd like. All that stale air goes out. And then we'll close the mouth. And then shift the breath to breathe in and out through both nostrils. So just letting go of your day so far, letting go of the last few moments, releasing any expectations you may have for the practice, for yourself. And just let yourself drop into your breath, this present moment. Now we're going to explore healthy breathing throughout this whole practice. It'll be our anchor. And so healthy breathing, for the purpose of this practice, or any practices that are calming and grounding, or when you're meditating, you want to work on the 5 qualities of what make up healthy breathing. So first off, you want the breath to be deep. So breathe deep abdominally. So as you inhale, you feel the belly rise. And as you exhale, the belly softens. Now you want the breath to be deep abdominally. The next quality is that you want it to be internal. So the breath isn't audibly loud. See if you can make it deep and also internal, quiet. And the third quality is to make the breath smooth and even, so there's no interruptions. The fourth quality is to bring balance to your breath. So you want to balance the inhalations and the exhalations so one isn't longer than the other. And then the final quality is to make the breath seamless and continuous, so that there are no pauses at the top of the inhale and no pauses at the bottom of the exhale. It is gapless. So really starting to refine your healthy breathing. The breath is deep. It's internal. It is smooth. It is balanced. And it is seamless. So your hands are there on your belly as a guide, putting a little bit of pressure on the belly as you breathe. So even with that pressure, see if you can make the breath continuous. Now this way of breathing, this healthy breathing, will bring presence to your experience. It'll bring your mind back into present moment awareness. So let this breath be your anchor for the practice. And even beyond, off of the mat. A few more rounds of healthy breathing on our backs. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to make our way onto our stomachs, onto our belly. Makarasana. It's going to be another way to check in with our healthy breathing. So roll onto your belly. And now we're going to stack the arms. So one forearm on top of the other. So not the palm, so the elbows aren't wide. You want to have your elbow roughly in front of your shoulder and the other elbow roughly in front of the shoulder. Palms are flat, and stack the arms, one on top of the other. And then you're going to rest your forehead on the back of the forearm. So your legs are relaxed, shoulders are relaxed. You can close your eyes again and start to breathe again, healthy breathing. This time you have the floor there where your belly is to create some pressure. And it'll show you where there are gaps or interruptions in your breath. So you really want to pull in that smooth quality of breathing, that continuous, seamless flow. This is a very, very grounding shape. So if you ever feel anxious or stressed, you can come onto your belly and practice your healthy breathing. So the breath is deep. It is internal, so it's quiet. It is smooth. It is balanced. The in-breath and the out-breath are balanced.
and it is seamless and continuous. The inhale feeds the exhale feeds right into the inhale. Staying supremely present to your breath. And just a few more deep, smooth breaths here. Deeply nourishing the nervous system, bringing everything back to homeostasis. Alright, so to come out of the pose, bring your hands by your upper chest and just push yourself up and come into tabletop for a moment just to let the spine adjust. As we were in a little bit of a back bend. So here we're going to bring the toes to touch, knees come out wide, and sit back in child's pose for a counter stretch. Just let the low back release, let the forehead melt down. And let's bring ourselves back up into tabletop. So bring your knees back under your hips. Now we'll come into pigeon. So we can use props for this or no props. You're going to take your right knee towards the outside of the right wrist. And then just slide the left leg back. And so here what you can do is take a folded blanket or a block or a bolster and bring it underneath that right hip or glute if it's not touching the ground for some support. And then you can also bring a bolster or a pillow or some blocks here in front of you as you lay yourself down. So making sure that there's no sharp pain. You want to have your hips in the center. Making sure your ankle feels comfortable. And you can adjust your block here if you have it in front of you for your head. If you have a bolster or a pillow in front of you, you could turn your head one way if that feels better. And then when we go to the other side, just turn your head the opposite way to balance out the neck. So as soon as you find your position here, soften your shoulders. Maybe you close your eyes if that helps you move more internally. And right away, drop into your healthy breathing. We just don't want the mind to wander around. So feel into and practice those 5 qualities of healthy breathing. Breathing in the abdomen, the lower lobes of the lungs, deep and internal. smooth and balanced and seamless. And as you breathe in this way, notice if there are any unconscious pockets of holding within the physical body, within your being. And use the connection with your breath to invite in softness. So even if you just set the intention to breathe your healthy breathing, even for the first minute or so, it's really important to bring the mind back into the breath, into presence. And so another way to say presence is being in homeostasis. Breathing in a few more deep conscious breaths. And we'll start to prepare to come out of the shape. So what we'll do is we'll just roll over onto our back. So lean onto your right hip and just roll onto your back. You might roll off your mat, that's okay. And just lay down, straighten out your right leg, and just let the energy flow in the right hip, the right leg. Just pause for a moment. And receive the effects of the posture. Now slowly we're going to roll back onto all fours. And we're going to prepare for pigeon on the left side. So take your left knee to your left wrist, just to the outside of the left wrist. Slide that right leg back. making sure your hips are in the center, making sure there's no pain in the knee or in the ankle. You can take a folded blanket or a block or a bolster under the left hip for support. You can take another prop here right in front of you as you take the pigeon forward, your torso forward. And now one side might feel different than the left, and that's all right. It's not for you to judge, it's just to notice. Support yourself as you need. Get all your wiggles and jiggles out as much as you can. And once you find your position, see if you can commit to stillness. Softening your shoulders. Maybe close down your eyes. And right away, drop into your breathing. Even for the first minute or so, for as long as you can. It is a beautiful practice to also take off of your mat and into your day as often as you remember. It's very nurturing for our nervous systems, especially this day and age with so much stimulus. So again, as a reminder, the 5 qualities are deep breaths, keeping the breath internal and quiet. The breath is smooth. The breath is balanced. And the breath is seamless. When you truly breathe in this way, it allows for no external thought or thought patterns and forms to enter, because you're truly present. Just a few more rounds of breath. And start to prepare yourself to come out of the shape. So the same thing we did on the first side. Just going to lean over to your left, roll onto your back. You might roll off of your mat, it's all right. And just straighten out your legs. Just take this moment to just pause and receive. Relaxing the hips. Now we'll move into a twist. So if you have a prop, you can use one. You can use a block if you'd like, or if you have a bolster, bring it to your left side of your body. You're going to pull your right knee in, and then you're going to take your left hand to the outside of the right thigh and roll yourself over onto the left. Now here, if you have a bolster, you can bring a bolster underneath from the knee down to the ankle, so the knee feels supported. Or if you have a block, you can use a block on whatever height setting works to bring the leg into support, or no prop if you don't have one. You can even also just place your left hand onto the right thigh, not as a way to push it down, but just for support. Your right arm opens up into a T, right palm's facing up, so you're externally rotating the right shoulder. And then your head, your gaze could be wherever's the most comfortable for you, to the left, center, or to the right. Now you're going to close down your eyes. And then we drop back into deep abdominal breathing. So breathing into the lower lobes of the lungs. Invite in your healthy breath, healthy breathing. And each time you inhale, you're inviting in this sense of deep nurturance and healing and vitality. And each time that you exhale, you're inviting in groundedness and a deep sense of calm and release. A few more deep breaths. Now we'll slowly start to release the posture. Bring yourself back to center. Straighten out your legs again, or you can always bend the knees. Just to pause and receive, recenter. Taking your props over to the right if you have them. And now we'll pull the left knee in towards us. Right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Guide yourself over to the right. Using your prop, if you have a bolster, make sure it's supporting the knee all the way down to the ankle. Right hand can be placed on the left thigh as support. Left arm opens up into a T, palm is up, externally rotate the shoulder. Make adjustments here, make sure you feel supported, there's no pain. Find a comfortable position for your head, for your neck, softening the shoulders. Maybe you close down your eyes. And then again, just drop into your abdominal breathing so you really feel the belly rise and fall. And invite in your healthy breathing. So when we breathe in this way with the 5 qualities, we're shifting our state. We are soothing our nervous system, bringing everything back into balance. And this is the space where healing happens. The body heals itself. And just allow yourself to receive the 5 qualities of your breath. Deep, internal, smooth, balanced, and seamless. few more deep conscious breaths. And slowly make your way back to center. You can either have the knees bent or legs straight. Just pause there for a moment, bringing in a sense of balance from left and right side. Just receive the effects from the posture. Now we're going to bring in supported bridge. So take your block or a folded blanket or a pillow or a bolster. If you don't have any of those things, you can just stay here with your feet wide and knees fall into touch for constructive rest. Very nurturing for your lower back. If you have a prop, take your feet hip width distance apart. Press down with your feet. Just gently engage your glutes, lift your hips up, and take your block or whatever you have under your sacrum, so the tailbone there. So not on the bum, not on the low back, but right in between, that bony part there. You can put your block, if you have one, on the lowest setting. Maybe try the second setting, might be nice, or whatever feels better for you. Nice and supported, as long as there's no pain. Your arms could be down on the ground for support, or if you want, you can bring your hands to your belly. Relaxing your glutes. And this is a really nice counter for some of the forward folding we did earlier in Pigeon. So we've really brought in a lot of groundedness and calmness in this practice. So now we're in a gentle, supportive inversion. So we want to bring in a little bit of vibrancy. So we want to feel calm and yet vibrant and stable and yet radiant. So again, dropping back into your healthy breathing. So we're not staying in this one for as long, just a few more breaths. So with care to come out of the pose, push your feet down into the ground, gently engage your glutes. You can lift your hips up and even push your hands down on the ground to get that lift, and then remove your props. Slowly lower your hips back down. Relax your glutes and just pause here. Just receive that nourishment. Just let the spine readjust. And now we'll pull the knees in towards the chest. Interlace the fingers around the shins. Apanasana, breathe into your belly. And let's stretch out into Shavasana. You can always bring bolster underneath the backs of the knees, making sure the knees aren't dangling off so they feel supported, or a couple of blocks underneath the legs, or just lay flat down on your back. If you feel any lower back tenderness, then bring blankets or a bolster under the knees, or maybe one blanket underneath each knee, folded blanket. I like to give my hips a little bit of a wiggle just to lengthen out the lower back. I also like to lift my chest up a little and gently tuck the shoulder blades under and relax the back down so the chest is nice and open, heart is open. Let your ankles fall open, palms are up, making sure the chin isn't way higher than the forehead. If you need a little support for the back of the neck, just a thin folded blanket can go under the head. Now before we drop into Shavasana, let's breathe consciously for about a minute back to our healthy breathing into the abdomen, abdominal breathing. And each time that you exhale, just feel your body relax more and more. And each time that you exhale, feel your mind soften and relax more and more. Now release your conscious breath. Release any shaping of your breath. And just allow yourself to rest and receive in spacious awareness, in pure presence.
Notice what it feels like to be at home in the center of your multi-dimensional being. And know that you always, always have access to this. It is always available to you. Begin your return by deepening your breath once again. Bringing some gentle movement back to your body. Maybe you start to move your fingers and your toes. Maybe you move your wrists and your ankles. And maybe you bring your arms up overhead for a nice big stretch as you deepen your breath, reawakening. Pull your knees in toward you. Give yourself a hug. Acknowledge your efforts and your presence. This form of self-love. And you can roll onto one side and just pause in that in-between state for a few breaths. And then start to make your way upright to a comfortable seat. You can sit up on a prop if you'd like. You could just sit for about a minute just to seal our practice in. Sitting up tall, hands on your lap. Relax your shoulders. Close down your eyes. And for the next minute or so, just connect back to your healthy breathing. From here, bring your palms to touch in front of you. And we'll start to rub the palms together generously to create heat in the hands. Once you've generated enough heat in the hands, you're going to take your hands, eyes are closed, and just cup your eyes, one palm over each eye, and just feel that heat absorbing into the eyes and just enlivening your senses once again. Bringing in vitality, aliveness, nurturance, and freshness. Taking a deep breath in
And a deep breath out. Bringing your palms in front of heart space, slight bow in of the chin. Acknowledge your practice in any way that feels aligned for you. May we bring this deep sense of calmness and peace and groundedness with us into the rest of our days, into our evening, into our sleep. Tuning into gratitude and really feeling gratitude for our sacred lives. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your practice. From my heart to yours. Namaste.